Hello, this is Amanda Kendall, Enrolled Agent and President of True Resolve Tax Professionals. Wanting to go over a Form 2159 with you today. This form is for a payroll deduction installment agreement. This is used when you are setting up an installment agreement with the IRS, but you want to have the payments deducted from your paycheck rather than from your bank account or having to mail in a check each month. This is a really great option for taxpayers who get paid more than once a month and want to budget their monthly IRS payment over each paycheck rather than making one payment at a time each month. It also allows funds to come directly out of someone's pay before they get paid, so there's no risk of forgetting to make the IRS payment or it not arriving to them on time if you're mailing it in. It's really just a good option for somebody who wants to be on a budget with their installment agreement with the IRS rather than just sending in one monthly payment on it. This form is a form that both the taxpayer and the employer are going to need to fill out certain portions of this form before it is sent back to the IRS. And you can see right here I've highlighted in yellow the employer section that needs to be filled out. This is pretty easy for the employer. They just need to verify how often you're paid, sign it, put their title and their date. That's their authorization stating that they agree to this form. The reason that's so important, I'm going to jump down to the bottom here for a minute, is right here you'll see instructions to employer, and it clearly states that this agreement is subject to their approval. Your employer does not have to agree to do this, and if they don't agree to do this, then this form will not be accepted by the IRS. So, right here, the employer section being signed is their agreement to deduct the payments and send them to the IRS on your behalf. So let's get into the form and filling it out. This is a pretty simple form here. Some basic information. So your first part here is going to be your employer name, contact person's name, that's usually whoever's going to sign the form here, and then the business phone number. Then you're going to put your information over here. We're filling this form out for John and Jane Smith today. They'll put in their social security numbers here, telephone numbers. On the social security numbers, I want to point out, I get asked this question quite often, who's the taxpayer, who's the spouse? This depends on how you file your tax return. Whoever is listed first on the tax return is going to be the taxpayer, and the second person listed is going to be the spouse. You need to fill this form out to match your tax return. Otherwise, more often than not, you're going to confuse the IRS and they're not going to cross-reference one account to the other. Alright, so then it's asking for your financial institution name and address here, so just fill that out. Now we're to the tax forms, the kind of taxes. So we're going to fill this out for a Form 1040 today, which is going to be the most common you're going to see on this form. If you do have some civil penalties, that's a Form 6672, or you can just type out civil penalties. Either way works, but today we're going to use this just for the Form 1040. Tax periods is the years that you have the liabilities for, so I've put in 2009 through 2015 for this taxpayer, and the amount you owe. Now this needs to be as of a certain date. If you have talked to the IRS on the phone, they can give you this amount, and they are supposed to give you this amount in every phone call when you call in. So you should have that amount as of the date they gave it to you. So we're going to say that John and Jane here owe $75,198.56. We're going to have this deducted from John's pay. And so John is the one who works for ABC Company, and John is paid every 2 weeks. Now John and Jane Smith have set up an installment agreement for $200 a month. However, he's paid every 2 weeks. So we have put in here that we are deducting $100 from his wage and salary payments beginning July 28th, 2017. So this is going to be the first day that that your employer is going to deduct a payment. So if your installment agreement is due July 28th, then you need to make your first payment being deducted. Let's say that you're paid on the 10th and the 25th of each month. So this is going to be the 10th, which would then allow them to get that $100. They would get their next payment from the July 25th paycheck, and you've made your $200 payment by July 28th. Now, if you are paid every week instead of every 2 weeks and you have a $200 a month installment agreement, then you're going to change this number to 50. And this is going to work regardless of the amount that you're paid or regardless of the amount that you're paying to the IRS, but based on how often you are paid. You don't ever want to put in here that you're paid every week and that you agree to have $200 deducted, because this is basically giving your employer the permission to take $200 per paycheck from you to send to the IRS. And if you're paid every week on a $200 installment agreement, you've just put yourself in a situation where your employer is now going to be taking $800 a month from you. So you want to make sure that this is filled out correctly here. Here, if you've made any authorization or agreement with the IRS to increase your installment agreement or change the amount you're paying down the road, you would put that here. If that doesn't apply, just put NA for non-applicable. And then if there is an increase, then you would put that information here as well. Scrolling down to the bottom, you're going to get right to here. You're going to be putting your signature, your spouse's signature, and the date. And at that point, this form is complete as long as you've had your employer fill out this portion of the form. Second page here again is instructions to the employer, how they should do or what they should do, how to make payments. And if they have questions on this form, there are some phone numbers right here that they can call in order to get help. Or you can have them call our office at 720-319-8954. If you're filling out this form and have questions, please don't hesitate to call us and ask us as well. We would love to help make sure you get this form filled out correctly, and also make sure that you're not paying more on an installment agreement than necessary. Thanks for watching. Again, this is Amanda Kendall with True Resolve Tax Professionals, and I hope you have a great day, and I hope you found this video very helpful.